For more on this, Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danon, joins me live. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us this afternoon. The Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said the condition of the hostages who have returned will not go unanswered and that the appropriate actions will be taken. What can we expect from the Israeli government in response?
Thank you for having me, Rich. We are in shock. We are in shock seeing the faces of the emaciated prisoners, coming back, the hostages. We knew that they're in a bad shape, but once you see them, you understand that the starvation, the tortures, what they are happening there in the tunnel, it's unbearable. We will take actions against that. We will not accept it. We allow thousands of trucks to enter Gaza with humanitarian aid, with food, with water, with medical supply, and look at what they are doing to the hostages. We are dealing with evil, and I think today most Israelis realize that we will not stop. We will go all the way until we will bring back the hostages, and we will eliminate those monsters. We will eliminate them. We will not allow them to stay alive. Think only about, Eli Sharabi. He came today from captivity after 14 months, and he found that his wife was massacred. His two teenage daughters were massacred as well. His brother was massacred. Those are animals, and we will take actions against them.
Do you have a sense of the condition of the remaining hostages?
We can only imagine, we can only imagine the conditions, and unfortunately, we are not optimistic. Once we see the faces of the hostages coming back, we hear the testimonies about starvation, sexual assault, tortures, and I think that the world is not speaking enough about the fact that the Red Cross never visited the hostages. No UN agency actually took any action in order to support the hostages. That's unacceptable. So for us Israelis, it means that we are determined to do it ourselves. We will go back if we have to. We will get back into the war zone in order to bring them back.
Do you expect that this war could restart again soon? I know there's more negotiations that are upcoming when it comes to extending the ceasefire, getting more hostages back, releasing more prisoners. What are the next steps, and what do you expect to come after that?
So the negotiations will resume in Doha, Qatar, and our goals are very clear: is to bring back the hostages and not to allow to remain in power. If we can achieve it through negotiations, everything can move very fast. But if Hamas will insist to stay in power, I don't think it will happen, because it will mean that there will be no future for the people of Israel and no future for the Palestinians as well with Hamas in power. So we will have to wait a few more weeks in order to know where we're heading. But we are determined. We are determined. We realize that we have to fight back, and we are willing to do it.
The Biden administration worked right to the very end on these issues, handing over to the Trump administration. How was that handoff? Has it been pretty seamless when it comes to United States involvement?
Well, I would say that on the issue of the hostages, both administrations wanted to see progress, and we appreciate the efforts. No doubt President Trump, with his approach, was able to bring the deal into maturity and to realize it. But in terms of support, unfortunately, the previous administration held ammunition when we needed it, and this administration is saying out loud, we stand with Israel. I was with the Prime Minister a few days in D.C., and the fact that President Trump invited him to be the first foreign leader to step into the White House, it shows the bond we have with the U.S.
Yeah, the president caused quite a stir with his announcement about redeveloping Gaza. Have there been any follow-on discussions between what President Trump said a couple of nights ago in that press conference and the Israeli government in how exactly you're going to do that?
Not yet. We know we have to be focused on the goal of eliminating Hamas, because you cannot think about future plans if Hamas is still there. We appreciate that the president is thinking out of the box, coming with new ideas. It's about time, because so many leaders spoke about the Palestinian cause without offering something tangible. So I think it's a good idea, but we have to finish the job. We have to eliminate Hamas and then allow the international organizations and international players to go step in and build a future for the region.
The idea, though, that some 2 million Palestinians who are not going to be in Gaza at some point seems pretty far-fetched, doesn't it?
Well, it's not easy to implement it, but I think Palestinians should be allowed to relocate if they do it with consent. People move from country to country. So I don't understand why people are against the idea of allowing Palestinians that want to go to places that will be willing to receive them. We saw it happening all over the world, in conflict area, in Syria, in Ukraine. So why they are doomed to stay in Gaza? I think if they have the option to relocate and they want to do it, they should be allowed to do it.
Ambassador Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Rich.